Welcome to City Line. We are zooming from my kitchen and we have a wonderful hour ahead of us. Later on, we'll be talking with Eastside Farmers Market. Anika, who is the new executive director of the Farmers Markets, is here to talk about the Eastside Market. They have some beautiful items in that market that you can't find at the Broadway or perhaps the Point Weston. So we'll be talking with her later on in the hour. And then Marissa Buss is back from the Tacoma Public Library. And she's here to talk about some of the efforts they're making as they're moving toward opening the library back up. And also, they have a wonderful online program that we want to do a quick refresher on. So we'll look forward to that. The Tacoma Refugee Choir is here. You gotta love Erin. Miss Erin is amazing. And she will be here talking about their upcoming project and how they have managed to move their choir into a virtual situation as well. The Humane Society is here with our pet of the week. And now with me is just practically a dream come true for me. Months ago, I had Melannie Denise Cunningham, she is our Peace Queen, on the show. And afterwards, she and I talked about having a monthly segment where she comes on and talks about Tacoma. We talk about peace. We talk about what she's involved with. And I know that you agree with me, Tacoma. If there was ever a time we need a Peace Queen, it's now. So please join me in welcoming Melannie Denise Cunningham, 2018 Greater Tacoma Peace Laureate. Welcome, my dear, to our first segment together.
Amanda, oh my goodness. Thank you for having me. And it's just amazing to actually follow through on what we say we're going to do. So I appreciate being here. Hello, Tacoma.
Oh, and I just, I know that you are everywhere. I see you on Facebook. I see you on Instagram. I see all the events. And I think how fortunate is our city, and especially how grateful I am that you have made time out of your very busy schedule to come on and talk with me. So first off, let's talk about this. You are described as a visionary educator, community servant, and consummate peace builder. I would say that accurately describes you, but I'm going to ask you the hard question. Does that describe you?
Those are words somebody put on me, and so I'm going to say I received them, and I would say, I guess, girl, I just be out there working and serving and, just doing what I do. And the community is in my heart. So I would describe myself as a hard worker for the community. But all that other stuff that people say about me is kind of hard to, you know how it is. You receive it and you go, because when you serve in the community, you don't do it for recognition. And so I guess that's the first point for people that are out there doing the work and in the trenches. Just keep doing it. And then somebody will call you visionary.
Somebody certainly called you visionary. And we're talking about you received the 2018 Greater Peace Prize Laureate. And when I want to explain to our audience, that's not just a local award, because if it were, it would be enough for someone as gracious as you. It is the Nobel Prize that we're talking about. When you fly to Oslo, Norway, that's the kind of recognition that you got. And you could have stopped there, Melannie, but you didn't. You were one of the first people to organize citywide back in 1980 the Martin Luther King Jr. celebration. Tell me what inspired you to do that?
It's really about seeing a need in the community. I mean, at the end of the day, right, how we serve, we look around and we see what is missing. Okay, and this whole race thing that we're in is that people have failed to see what is missing. So back in the day when I started my career at the city of Tacoma as the city EEO officer, my first day of work was on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So in my observation, I was like, what's going on here at the city? Well, first of all, it wasn't a holiday in the city at all at that time. And then there were no formal programs. So on my first day of work, I went to my supervisor's office and I said, hey, next year, can I organize a program? And then here we are 30 plus years later, and the program is still the program. And it's a signature program, and it adds value to the community, and it also helps teach history and legacy to our children. So I'm grateful that it has carried on.
I am too. So Melannie, let's take all of that wonderfulness that follows you like a beautiful cape wherever you go, and let's land into the big question. Where are we today?
Ooh, sister girl. Let me just say right now, America is in a hot mess, and Tacoma right now, we're having our own hot mess issues. The Tacoma Police Department has put us in national news, so we have to sit with that. Okay, and we love our folks, our Tacoma finest, and they've put us in national news. And so for police brutality and harm against Black people. We're in those headlines. Let's sit with that. Now, as a result of that, we have to say, how did we get here? What is the problem? Folks saw the knee on the neck from the law enforcement officer to George Floyd, killing him in real time as we watched. Now, all of a sudden, folks are like, well, I've heard about this, but now I'm seeing it. And Amanda, you can't unsee what you saw. So as a result of that, folks are really grappling and raking up to say, maybe I didn't know what I should have known. And then things like guilt and shame. And let's be clear, I'm talking specifically to white people right now. Please know that. And I'm talking to the white people that really care. Because there's some white people that could care less, and I just need about this conversation at all. So let's be clear that this message is not for them. But those that are clear, it's like, oh, gee, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do now, because I've seen some stuff that got to my heart. Okay, we got out of our head, and this got to our heart, and we can't undo it. So folks are asking the question, what am I supposed to do about this? And my question is to you, are you anti-racist or are you not? Because that's where we have to start. Either you're anti-racist or you're not. So you can go in your bathroom, pull out your mirror from your purse, the compact thing that you put your powder on, look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm anti-racist. Or say, I'm not anti-racist. And then when you say that, then we know what we're working with. And those people that are anti-racist, we got some work to do collectively as a community. We've got to come together and work this out.
And everything you've just said, I am listening because everything you have said is just right in all of our hearts, Melannie. So as you are known for, you say it and then you do it. There is action that comes out of Melannie Denise Cunningham, Peace Queen, mouth. And that is called, right now, you have something coming up called the People's Gathering Conference. Mm-hmm. This last 5 minutes, tell us what we need to know. Who, what, where, when, why, and when do we sign up?
That's right. I was sitting here in my home. We're all quarantined to home, or we were, and my stomach was hurting. I was just sick because I've been in this work for such a long time, Amanda, that I'm reliving a lot of racial trauma just as an individual, having been in the trenches. And I was like, I got to do something. What do I do? I can't sit here crying and carrying on, which I've been doing. And it came to me. It's like the People's Gathering Conference that we created at PLU, Pacific Lutheran University, 4 years ago, is the infrastructure to call people in. And so we are having an emergency convening of the People's Gathering. And there's a segment of that conference, if you've attended before, and many watchers have been there before, we do race dialogues and we segregate. We put people into rooms. Now, before, with the People's Gathering, it was white people in a room, people of color in a room, and then people that identify as two or more races. And I can see viewers now, oh, they're segregating. Yeah, based on the box that you check on the census. Based on the box that you check on the 2020 census, because that's when America forces us into the race conversation, we're going to have rooms for dialogue for each of those boxes and start to grapple with, where do we go from here? What's going on in the white room? White people, Black people, Pacific Islanders, Asian, Indigenous. I mean, everybody in those race rooms, they all have an N word for anti-Black. Everybody got an N word in your own language. And so we've got to get at the root of this anti-Blackness sentiment and then like move forward. So July 9th at Pacific Lutheran University, that's what we're going to do. Call to community. And because we're virtual, people can come from everywhere. And we're seeing the registrations happen that way. Tacoma is leading the way. And let me just thank can I thank the sponsors that stepped up real quick?
Do, yes.
Let me start with the Banford Foundation because they were first. Holly Banford and the Banford Foundation, they love our community. When I called and outreached and asked for help to get this, they were right there. And then we just run down the list. Banford Foundation, PIMCO Insurance, Washington State Employees Credit Union. We've got John Corsmo and Corsmo Construction. We have, I'm just kind of thinking, PLU, of course. One of our big ones, though, this is new and I'm so excited, is the International Longshore Warehouse Workers Union, ILWU Local 23. Thank you.
Wow, my goodness, you have been busy. So we're showing a link below your name, a little ticker tape where people can sign up. Last 30 seconds until I see you again in a couple of weeks for our monthly Peace Queen talks.
Okay.
What is the one thing you want people to walk away from this conference, regardless of what their skin color is? What do you want, Melannie?
May I please quote Michael Jackson?
Please.
I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Hey, I'm asking him to change his ways.
All right.
That's what I want them to walk away with.
All right. Melannie Denise Cunningham, I love you to the moon and back. I am honored as a white person that you would sit down and talk with me and share your wisdom and your pain. We're going to do this again in a couple of weeks because these are the conversations everybody needs to have. Until then, you take care of you and yours, and I will see you at the conference. Mwah!
Mwah! Peace, Tacoma.